Brandon Brown from Wolverine Digest back again here. Week 2 of the college football season. Week 1 of the NFL season, baby. Lions getting her going tonight against the Chiefs. I know. Yeah. We know that Trent's a weird, for Minnesota Vikings fan living in Ohio. We can't figure the guy out, but hopefully Trent has figured out some betting tips today because he texted me the picks. He said, "There you go, Brandon. 3 winners." So you're feeling good, I guess, right? Feeling pretty good?
I'm pretty confident this week. What I think last week I went 2-2, but no, this week we have 3 winners. Brandon's probably going to go 0-3. I'm not real sure, but just a hunch.
We'll see. We'll see how they go. So last week was our first week. We didn't really have like a set, approach. We kind of just threw some stuff towards each other. Now we're organizing it down a little bit. It's going to be 3 picks each a week. We're going to do a player parlay. We're going to do a winner's pick, and then we're going to do a Michigan-specific pick. Every week, we're going to track whether we win or lose. Like, again, last week, we didn't have the graphics ready. We didn't have exactly the format figured out. So this week's going to be better, and then next week, I think will be even better, and it'll continue to go that way, at least in terms of our presentation and what we're doing. The picks, that remains to be seen. I think I either went 2-2 last week or 2-3. Because, again, I couldn't remember if I did 4 or 5. I did other bets that we didn't talk about on the show, and that's why I couldn't remember, like, which ones hit and which ones didn't. I know both of our big parlay winners picks did not hit. For mine, I had 11-legger. TCU, Texas Tech, and Clemson all lost. I think did you have just one leg not hit?
I had 14 teams, and I had one not hit, which was Texas Tech, who lost in double overtime.
Yeah, so both of our big parlays did not hit. My Michigan pick was terrible. I had Michigan by 28.5 and Blake Corum to score 2 touchdowns. Neither of those hit. But I did hit on the, like I said, Penn State by 9.5, Drew Aller over 200 yards, and Nicholas Singleton to score a touchdown. What were your 2 winning picks, Trent, that you had from last week, if you recall?
Yeah, the 2 winners I had was Washington -9 over Boise, and then Colorado plus 20.5.
Yeah.
Like, that seemed like a no-brainer, dude. And then not only did they cover, but they won straight up. Like,
yeah.
When I saw that spread, I'm like, man, Colorado 20.5. Like, that just seemed weird.
Yeah, I agree. It seemed like a lot. I remember when you threw it up there, I was like, yeah, that does look pretty good. I don't think TCU is going to be that good. I obviously think Colorado is going to be improved, and obviously it went in a very different direction with the Buffs winning outright. All right, so our picks this week. Trent, we have a player prop, winners, and I think in winners you also might have like a spread thing. So that's going to be like focusing on the entire game, whether it's a winner pick or the number spread or the over under, whatever, and then a Michigan specific one. So let's get started with our player prop moving forward into week 2. So Trent's picks are on the right, the dark background. Mine are on the left with the light background. I stole your Shadeur Sanders 2 passing touchdowns. As soon as you sent that to me, I'm like, yeah, he's going to do that like every week, I feel like. They're at home this week. Nebraska's defense doesn't seem to be all that stout. So we both have Shadeur Sanders for 2 passing touchdowns. I had a Jeff Sims pick last week, the quarterback for Nebraska. I picked he only needed 25 yards. I think he had 85 in the first half and finished with over 100. So I'm going back to that well this week. I don't think Colorado's defense is worth a flip. They gave up 42 points to a much diminished TCU team. So I think Jeff Sims will run for 50 yards easy. And then Audric Estime, that's Notre Dame's big running back. They're going to pound the ball. They want to do a lot like what Michigan does, and I think they'll be able to run the ball against NC State. So there is my plus 155 3-game parlay plus. What do you got?
All right, man. So Shadeur, I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. He threw for 5 last week, I think.
Yeah.
So you got that one. Sam Hartman over 1.5 touchdowns. I feel like Notre Dame is a much more improved offense with Hartman back there. And I watched a lot of that NC State UConn game last Thursday, and I'm not overly impressed with NC State. So I think Hartman can kind of shred that defense. And then we're going back with Blake Corum, over 78.5 rushing yards. I feel like Michigan's going to try to pound the rock a little bit, and he should be able to get it.
Yeah, I don't think Michigan's going to have as much trouble running the ball this week, and I think Blake was right around that number against ECU, even though they were stacking the box all day. I think he was around 70 yards. He had the one long one that bumped his total up. So, yeah, I like it. Look, I think mine's a winner. Trent thinks his is a winner. We're all trying to find winners. That's the whole point here. So let's move on to winners or money line or score picks here. So I just went straight up winners. Just pick the winner, pick the money line in 4 different games. You mixed it up just a bit with that Oregon alternate spread down there. I'll let you get to that in a minute. So I've got Notre Dame straight up over NC State, even though it is on the road. I've got Utah straight up over Baylor. Look, Baylor lost to Texas State last week. I'm not sure what they're doing, and Utah looked really good even without their starting quarterback against Florida. I think that's a no-brainer. Iowa going to Iowa State. Hey, the Fighting Cade McNamara's, man, they look pretty impressive. He looks like he has added something to that offense. I'll take the Hawkeyes there. And then, again, Texas Tech lost a bad one too. So you got Oregon, who scored like 1 billion points in week 1 to travel to Texas and win that one. It's cut off the screen, but that is a plus 275 for those 4 wins. Trent may have froze.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay, Trent's been having a little bit of technical difficulties on his end, but I think he's back now. Trent, what do you got for your winners?
All right, so we got Kansas straight up over Illinois. Jalen Daniels is supposed to be back, and he was phenomenal last year. Illinois struggled last week, so I like Kansas at home. We're going to go back to the Colorado well. Nebraska was not impressive last week, so give me Colorado and Deion Sanders. And then lastly, I got Oregon minus 2.5 over Texas Tech. And I would be darned if Texas Tech messes me up 2 straight weeks.
Yeah, I don't think that. I think Oregon's just way too much for Texas Tech. I know they're improved on defense, but you like Colorado over Nebraska, huh? At home, you think the Bucks get it done again, huh?
Dude, yeah, it's their home opener. That place is going to be crazy. The fans are going to be ready. And I feel like Colorado's offense is going to be for real.
I'm anxious to watch that one, actually. I think that's a noon game. Yeah, noon game, so we'll be able to catch some of that before we head off to Michigan's 3:30 kick this week. So, yeah, looking forward to that. Speaking of Michigan, hosting UNLV, 3:30 kick at the Big House. Here are our Michigan-specific picks. I have both Donovan Edwards and Blake Corum getting in the end zone for a touchdown. Should have happened in week 1. Blake did score once. Donovan got stuffed at the goal line. I don't think they're going to let that happen again. I think they're going to want to get Donovan's confidence up, so he's going to find his way into the end zone. And Blake Corum has some of the most ridiculous odds for a touchdown score I've ever seen. He is minus 1,700 to score a touchdown, which is like bananas. It's almost like so likely you shouldn't even use it. But I do think that both of them are going to get in the end zone. I have Michigan at minus 29.5, which means they have to win the game by 30 or more. I think they will do that this week against UNLV, who should not put up as much resistance as ECU. And then I have the alternate total at 57.5 because I think, it could, if Michigan wins, 45-10, that still wouldn't be enough to get that total point. So it's just a lot of points. The clock is a little bit faster. Michigan's still going to want to run the ball. I think 57.5 is a safe number for the total points. What you got?
All right, so I want to note that I'm using DraftKings and player props were not on there. So I kind of had to use a different approach with this. We got over 37.5 points for Michigan. They scored 30 last week, and I feel like they're going to score more. So that's my thinking there. UNLV under 15.5. I'm doing the alternate total points of 48.5 over. And then I've got UNLV plus 46.5. I think UNLV's got a good enough offense that they're going to score a little bit on Michigan. So I think 46.5 is a huge spread.
It's just such a massive number. The alternate spreads are cool because you can get a decent range for, a minus 300 or minus 400 or something like that. Maybe even up to minus 2 or 100 if you want. And then it adds to your parlay and hopefully gets you into that plus number. So there you go. Mine's plus 354. Trent, do you remember what your total odds were for that parlay? I know I didn't ask you that ahead of time, so putting you on the spot a little bit here.
Yeah, it was plus 260.
Plus 260. So there you go. So they think Trent's is a little more likely. That's probably because of the specific touchdown scorer picks that I have. But there you have it. Week 2 picks. Place your bets in the books. And look at that, man. Like, people can listen and watch this for 10 minutes, and they don't even have to see our faces. Like, that's
beautiful.
That's a nice thing, too. So Happy betting, everybody. Gamble responsibly. That's what Trent and I are on this week. We will see you again on next Thursday before the college week kicks off. We will review our picks from this week and give you our next ones. Thanks for paying attention to us.
Thanks.